The Newsweek story, Donald Trump has about 10 days to replace J.D. Vance. Okay, so Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer stated that Trump has about 10 days to replace J.D. Vance as his running mate if he chooses. Amid reports, Trump regrets the choice. Now, this is rumors they're creating. Schumer criticized the decision, saying the addition of J.D. Vance to this ticket is incredibly a bad choice. Trump is sitting there scratching his head and wondering, why did I pick this guy? Trump's campaign, however, denied any intention to replace Vance. Communications Director Stephen Chang said, President Trump is thrilled with the choice he made with Senator Vance, and any reporting to the contrary is nothing but ridiculous fake news. Political scientist Mitchell Brown noted that while Trump could replace Vance before ballot deadlines, it would all involve the Republican National Committee and be complicated by stability, the time it takes to gear up a campaign and run a good campaign. By the way, this is also happening when a story comes out by Peter Thiel saying he is elated by the J.D. Vance pick and warms to Trump. Again, keep in mind, Peter Thiel had a little bit distanced himself from Trump, and he had other people that he wanted to be the president instead of Trump. But now he has rekindled the support for Trump after him choosing J.D. Vance, one of Thiel's close political allies, as his running mate. Thiel expressed cautious optimism about a second term, saying, it makes me more hopeful that a second term Trump will be better than the first. Despite his renewed support, Thiel remained non-committal about making significant financial contributions. I went on record saying I would not give money to super PACs, and I have to stick to that. He believes Trump and Vance will win by solid margin, adding, I think Trump and JD will crush the election by solid margin, 4% or 5% of the popular vote. Adam.
Well, Peter Thiel's no lightweight. This is somebody that's been on and off the Trump train for the last 8 years or so. This is an original PayPal mafia, Silicon Valley billionaire. When he speaks, you should definitely be listening. So he's got a lot of credibility when he talks about J.D. Vance. There's definitely been stories coming out about, well, is Trump happy with his pick, not happy with his pick? At this point, I think it would be a horrible look for Trump to reverse the decision. He went through a vetting process, almost apprentice-like, saying, Marco Rubio, you are not the VP. Doug Burgum, you are not the VP. And then obviously J.D. Vance was there. Now, why is J.D. Vance a viable VP? Who does he attract? He wrote the book, The Hillbilly Elegy, right? Elegy. And where he carries weight is that Midwest Rust Belt. The paycheck to paycheck American worker, manufacturing's been gone. The Rust Belt's been basically ruined. The Ohios of the world, the Michigans of the world, the Pennsylvanias of the world, everything in that Rust Belt, this is who he's going to identify with. And if you don't believe me, listen to what your friend, the pollster, had to say. What was the guy that you did a thing with Vinny on Pierce Morgan? Frank Lutz?
Lutz.
Yeah. He said... he actually did some polling. He said he defended Trump's choice of J.D. Vance as his VP candidate, emphasizing Vance's appeal to the paycheck voter. He chose to double down, and J.D. Vance comes from the background that Trump's focusing on, so he's credible. And he's got the language because this is how he grew up. So here you have, whether it's Kamala basically pandering to the LGBT, abortion, trans community, or you have J.D. Vance, who's basically identifying with the average American working class. To me, the American working class is who you should be focusing on, not this other nonsense. So I think he's not going anywhere.
Tom, J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance, this story is being used by the left because have there been issues with J.D. Vance? Yes. Have they dug up a lot of opposition research and some very bombastic things he said? Yes. Like, his wife and what she said or didn't say or won't say about Trump. Yes, all of that's there. But what the left is doing is the same thing that the right was doing with the Biden health. If you keep that story live, living, and as a fog, just up there, sparks and smoke and distraction, then it prevents people from talking about real issues. So if you can keep the story of, are you going to replace J.D. Vance? You saw what he said about you. You saw what he did. Saw what he did. The left is doing a very good job of that. And the pamphlet for the DNC, Newsweek, is out there trying to propagate the story and keep it going. So because that way it distracts from being able to talk about things like the border, the economy, interest rates, and the things that Trump wants to do to move the ball forward. So when you create a distraction and keep people talking about something, it prevents people from talking about real issues. So is there some real things in J.D. Vance's background that are popping up? Yes. But they're using it with a replacement story to create even more fire out of it? Yes.
Pat, and I'm being honest. I don't know. I didn't get as deep as, I didn't do that much research about J.D. Vance. But just from a personal looking from the outside in, there's just something that in here in my heart is off with that guy. I don't know what it is. And the fact that at the end of the day, Pat, if I talked like this to you, you know what? To you, not to you, to your face, but to Tom. Tom, you know what? I would never, ever work for a guy like this. Pat, he just overall, he's the worst thing for any company. He's just a scumbag. I don't like cops. I don't like this. And then one day I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to be your guy. I'm going to be with you. To me, Pat should never trust me 100% because that's how you really feel. I get what Adam was saying, Adam, that people change their points of view. But that feeling in there, once you have that Trump derangement system that you hate Trump because you were brainwashed to, I still can't trust you 100%.
Making it super personal is different from saying, I don't agree with Tom on taxing tariffs.
Yeah, exactly. But saying I don't like him and this and you'll look at the history of what he has said.
What are the chances that Trump knew these comments before these?
100%. He had to.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
what are the chances that they had a conversation? Hey, man, this is what I'm expecting of you.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the chances that Trump and him had a conversation? Hey, man, I know you said this. This is where I'm at now. Here's what I need from you. I feel like Trump knew all of this. So as much as we want to say, I don't like him or not, Trump's a marketer. He knows what he's doing. If Trump is going to win, he needs to flip those Midwestern independent voters who voted for him in 16 but didn't vote for him in 20. And how is he going to appeal to those guys?
So here's
and the reality is, here's a guy that basically flipped just like them that can identify with them.
So let me tell you who this guy was and why, he chose him. My opinion, okay? My opinion. So this guy came up and everybody from mainstream media had him on 2016, 17, 18. Why? Because he was a Republican who hated Trump. And the left loves that. Of course. So he got CNN, MSNBC. They bought his book. He was a hero. They made a movie about him. Mm-hmm. You think they would have made a movie about him? He said good things about Trump? No way. They made a movie about the guy with good actors and actresses because he trashed Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why he got the movie. So then he gets the movie. And then later on, he flips. And you know who warms up to him? Trump's son, Junior, gets close to him. They're saying this is Junior's candidate that was brought up to the father, okay, to say, here's who he is. And when they did, and they started spending time together, anyways, his position changed. However, I got a bigger question for you. So right now, the whole thing yesterday with Jesse Waters, where I'm like, Marcus Aurelius, they used to whisper, he had a slave that would sit right behind him to always tell him, hey, you're not as important as you think you are. Rob, can you pull up, what did the slave tell Marcus Aurelius every day? What did the slave tell Marcus Aurelius?
And
what's the famous quote?
He'd have one slave, like a main guy behind him.
Remember thou art mortal?
Yeah, remember that you're going to die, or some quote like that. He would whisper something to him. What was it? You're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man. This is what he would whisper to him, right?
That's pretty awesome.
The slave would whisper to him in the back, hey, you're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man. I said to Jesse yesterday, Trump needs to have somebody that whispers to him and says, you need to win over independence. You need to win over independence. Yep. You need to win over independence. Stop allowing MAGA to make you think they're everybody. They're not. So, strategically, likability, I have my own opinions. That's a different story with JD. Strategically, here's what you have to ask yourself. Would you rather have a JD or a Nikki Haley?
JD.
By the way, JD is a better version of Nikki Haley. But JD and Nikki Haley have an audience that Trump doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And that's why he needed JD. That's why everybody's like, I can't believe you were against Trump picking Vivek. I'm like the biggest Vivek guy. But Vivek's not going to bring him new voters that he didn't already have.
Yes.
Vivek, the only reason Vivek wasn't the leading guy at the Republican debates and he wouldn't move up is because one guy had all the votes, and that's Trump.
Yeah.
Or else he would have lapped all of these guys, 7%, 8%. Vivek was on a whole different league than DeSantis, Christie, all these other guys, right? But here's the thing. So he is a better version of Nikki Haley, okay? I don't know if Trump trusts this guy 100%. I don't think he needs to. John F. Kennedy, years ago, and his father, these guys were very strategic. They went after the one guy that hated him the most. It was the Irishman, it was Lyndon Johnson, who couldn't stand John F. Kennedy. But John F. Kennedy felt they needed Lyndon Johnson because he needed the Texas vote. And he needed that to help him pick up some other things. Calling LBJ to say, hey, I want you to be my VP. LBJ is like, who the hell are you? I'm supposed to call you to tell you to be my VP. I'm the freaking alpha. You're not an alpha. I'm supposed to be a president. You're running for president because your father. That's the exchange that took place. One of the best chapters on 48 Laws of Power talks about how hard Lyndon Johnson worked on a campaign, that he was exhausted, hospitalized at the end of the campaign. That guy was a dog. Don't agree with him. Don't like the guy. I think he was the reason why, John F. K's, had what happened to him. My opinion, well, what happened to him. But I think this is one of those moments, and I'm not comparing JD to LBJ. I just think he would have been received much better than Nikki Haley. If he announced Nikki Haley as his VP candidate, it would have been very weird to people like you.
Oh, big time.
To people like you would have been like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that at all.
But he did pick Nikki Haley, except her name is JD Vance.
Yeah.
So he did. Except it's JD, and JD's going to get him the same thing Nikki's going to get him. So strategically, it's good. Now, that's one piece of the puzzle. The next one is what? The independent piece of the puzzle. Can he bring RFK in? Yeah. He brings RFK in, the left is going to be shitting bricks if he brings RFK in.
Tom and Pat, how long would that window of RFK saying he's going to either stay in the race, drop out, or go towards Trump? Like when you
I don't know what
see
the window is, but the quick update is, RFK's been, the interviews he's done for the last 4 days, he's focusing on DNC lawsuits in certain states to keep him off the ballot. So that's what he's pushing right now. And he's like, hey, we barely have enough money to campaign. We're having to defend ourselves from all these suits to get us off the ballot. So why is that important? If there's a tipping point in there and RFK, finds a middle ground on something he cares about that Trump will say something positive on, you could see it happen. But it feels like he wants to take this thing to the end, given all the time and effort that's been put into it to get on the ballots.
Can I give you one little piece of feedback?
Yeah.
Fully agree with you, Pat, that Donald Trump right now, JD Vance, he's in the conversion business. We've all heard the term. You're preaching to the choir. The last thing Trump needs to do right now is preach to the choir. The choir is already voting for Trump. Who are the people in the Midwest, those paycheck-to-paycheck voters in Michigan and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin and Minnesota that are going to break for Trump? And by the way, you already know what they're going to do with JD Vance. He's a white male. He's racist.
He's weird.
Well, he's got a little secret weapon. He's got an Indian beautiful wife named Usha. We love you, Usha. Okay, so they're going to try to paint him as this misogynist, white supremacist. Dude, he's married to a Indian woman. I don't know, Rob, if you can find a picture of them. So
highly
that's
educated
going to
and
go
articulate,
a
too.
long way on the campaign trail. Any attack. So like the whole Mike Pence thing, there she is right there. The whole Mike Pence thing, oh, he's just a white evangelist. It didn't help the cause that Mike Pence wouldn't be alone in a room with anybody other than his wife. He played like, it was just a white bread, corny thing. This is a young, capable guy who's about to be 40, married to a woman of color.
Yeah.
The Nikki Haley of the world, if you will, who's a very capable person. And the whole mess, it's symbolic. Hey, listen, guys, I know that you weren't on the Trump train, but it's okay to be on the train now.
Yeah.
It's okay to evolve. You've been lied to. Just like this person, just like this person, just like this. It's okay to come on board. Yeah. And if Trump stays above the fray, I love what you said about 90% of the battles. Trump doesn't need to fight. Let his surrogates do it. Don't get involved in the melee. Let your people do it. Let JD fight for you. Let Usha fight for you. Let all your surrogates fight for you. Stay above the fray and keep it cool, DJT.